The story kicks off by introducing us to two high school students, Momo Ayase and Ken Takakura, who at first seem like ordinary teenagers, but are about to get pulled into a world far beyond their imagination. Momo Ayase is a strong-willed, determined girl who firmly believes in the supernatural. She's fascinated by ghosts and spirits, even though many people around her think such things are just made-up stories or urban legends. Momo is a bit quirky, sometimes blunt, but her curiosity and bravery push her to explore the unknown. She's also convinced that she can prove the existence of spirits, despite how crazy it sounds to others. On the other hand, Ken Takakura, nicknamed Okarun, is a boy who does not believe in ghosts or aliens. He's a skeptic through and through, and tends to rely only on things he can see or prove. Okarun is calm and collected, somewhat aloof, and approaches life logically. The funny thing is, even though Momo and Okarun seem like opposites, one believing in spirits and the other dismissing them, they end up crossing paths because of their shared interest in the strange. Their encounter starts when Momo challenges Okarun to help her prove that ghosts are real. She insists they go to a supposedly haunted place, a creepy abandoned school, to gather evidence. Okarun reluctantly agrees, thinking it's all nonsense, but the promise of adventure lures him in. Once they arrive, strange things immediately start to happen. The atmosphere is heavy, and eerie noises fill the air. Suddenly, Momo sees an apparition, a ghost, clearly confirming her beliefs. Okarun, despite himself, is taken aback because he also witnesses the supernatural firsthand. The ghost is terrifying and aggressive, not just a harmless spirit. Things escalate quickly as the ghost tries to attack them. But it's not just a typical ghost story. The show surprises viewers with its mix of horror and comedy. Momo shares her own experiences with the supernatural, revealing that she comes from a family with a history of dealing with spirits. Her boldness and knowledge complement Okarun's newfound powers. Together, they decide to team up and face the growing number of supernatural threats in their city. But the surprises don't end with ghosts. Suddenly, a new enemy appears. Aliens. These aliens are not friendly visitors. They have their own sinister plans and powers. Just as the ghost attack intensifies, Okarun discovers a secret about his own body. He has some kind of mysterious power or ability that helps him fight off the spirit. This revelation shocks both characters and sets the stage for the supernatural battles ahead. The first episode ends with a big twist. Okarun's power awakens unexpectedly, and the ghost is defeated. But this event signals the beginning of a much larger conflict involving spirits and even aliens. The world they thought they knew is turning upside down. Picking up from the explosive events of Episode 1, Episode 2 dives deeper into the strange new reality Momo and Okarun find themselves in. After narrowly escaping the ghost, Momo and Okarun start discussing what just happened. Momo is excited and relieved to prove her beliefs, while Okarun is confused and trying to make sense of his newfound abilities. He begins to question everything he thought he knew about reality. After the intense ghost encounter at the school, the story shifts focus to Momo's home, a place that holds many secrets and ties to her supernatural heritage. As she arrives, the atmosphere changes dramatically. The usually calm neighborhood feels charged with an eerie energy, and the camera captures long shadows stretching across narrow streets, building suspense. Inside Momo's house, the scene is both familiar and unsettling. Traditional decorations, family heirlooms, and spiritual talismans fill the rooms, hinting at a family deeply connected to the spirit world. Momo moves confidently through the house, but the tension rises as strange noises echo in the background. Whispers, creaking floorboards, and soft footsteps. Suddenly, the air grows cold, and a malevolent spirit appears, far more aggressive and dangerous than the ghost at the school. This spirit is dark and shadowy, with glowing red eyes and an aura that distorts the surroundings. It lunges at Momo without warning. Momo reacts instantly. Her fearless nature shines as she dodges the attacks with quick, fluid movements. The show ramps up the action with thrilling fight scenes where they test their skills and powers against these supernatural threats. Okarun's abilities grow stronger, and Momo shows off her fearless combat style. The characters also start developing their relationships. Okarun, who was initially skeptical and distant, begins to trust Momo and open up. Momo's determination inspires Okarun to push past his doubts. Their partnership becomes the heart of the story, a balance of belief and skepticism, courage and logic. But Momo's experience and connection to her family's spiritual legacy give her an edge. She calls upon spiritual energy. He steps in to help, to shield Momo and disrupt the spirit's attacks. Their teamwork impresses Momo, who starts to trust his powers more. In a powerful final move, Momo channels her energy into a radiant blast that engulfs the spirit, cleansing the house of its dark presence. The spirit lets out a chilling scream before dissolving into harmless mist. The fight leaves the house quiet again, but the sense of danger lingers. Momo and Okarun exchange determined looks. They know this battle is just one of many, and that threats are closer to home than they thought. The episode also introduces side characters who will play important roles later. Some of these characters have mysterious backgrounds and powerful abilities that hint at a bigger, more dangerous world lurking beneath the surface. Episode 3 begins with a live broadcast featuring a psychic named Santa Dodoria. He attempts to give a reading for a celebrity's profile, but is repeatedly corrected by the celebrity himself. After the broadcast ends, Santa hails a taxi, but chooses to walk the remaining distance home, worried the driver might be in danger if they continue together. Meanwhile, back at Momo's house, a tense and dramatic fight is about to unfold. Just as the terrifying spirit known as Turbo Granny is about to attack Momo, her grandmother arrives in the nick of time. Without hesitation, Momo's grandmother throws a brick embedded with a nail and a protective circle at Turbo Granny. The spirit bursts into flames instantly. The grandmother boldly challenges Turbo Granny to a duel. Turbo Granny tries to sneak up and attack from behind, but she burns again as she approaches the grandmother's protective barrier. Momo's grandmother reveals that she has drawn a magical barrier around herself using her bat, keeping evil spirits away. She also created a second barrier, trapping Turbo Granny within a small space. With Turbo Granny confined, the grandmother repeatedly strikes her with the bat, and every time the spirit tries to cross the barrier, it bursts into flames. Turbo Granny warns the grandmother that killing her will also cause Okarun's death, but the grandmother is unwavering. She says she will not stop because trying to harm Momo is unforgivable. She bids a solemn farewell to the evil spirit, and then erases the first circle with her foot, triggering a powerful warding flame that fully banishes Turbo Granny. Later, Momo wakes up in her bed and walks down to find her grandmother watching television. Concerned for Okarun's safety, Momo asks if her grandmother has seen him. To her shock, her grandmother reveals she already defeated Turbo Granny earlier. Momo asks for more details, worried about Okarun's curse, but is gently reminded of the time she accused her grandmother of being a fake spirit medium. Feeling guilty, Momo kneels and apologizes. Her grandmother tells her to check the main shrine outside. Rushing there, Momo opens the doors to find Okarun safe and happy. Her relief quickly turns to frustration, and she slams the doors shut, leaving Okarun puzzled by her sudden mood change. Momo's grandmother steps out and explains that Okarun's curse is safely sealed within the shrine. She admits to fabricating his death to provoke Momo, and then asks if she has feelings for him, a question Momo denies. Momo tells her grandmother about her psychic powers awakening and Okarun's predicament. Her grandmother warns her to avoid confronting Turbo Granny directly. She explains that Turbo Granny has merged with an earthbound spirit inside a tunnel, becoming so powerful that even she can't face her alone. Despite this, Momo insists on helping Okarun, saying it's what Ken Takakura would do. After teasing Momo by comparing the heroic Ken she admires to the real boy in the shrine, her grandmother agrees to let her face Turbo Granny, but outlines a plan. Momo and Okarun must train and then lure Turbo Granny out of Shono City by playing a game of tag, which will weaken her powers. Once alone, Okarun expresses regret for seeming weak against the Flatwoods monster and vows to get stronger. Momo reassures him, praising his bravery during the alien encounter and promises to rescue him if needed. She prepares a futon and barley tea for him, showing their growing closeness. Meanwhile, Momo's grandmother watches a TV report exposing secrets of Shoma, the celebrity she read for earlier, confirming her psychic predictions. Momo comments that it's unnecessary news, showing her skepticism. During training, Momo notices Okarun desperately needs to use the bathroom, but denies him permission, explaining she must stay close to suppress his curse. She explains that her psychokinesis works by sensing auras she can see, but admits she was stronger when her powers first appeared. Her grandmother advises her to close her eyes and use touch instead of sight to control the curse. Momo tries, but Turbo Granny's curse begins to possess Okarun. Unable to hold it back, Okarun dashes to the bathroom with Momo and her grandmother following closely. With the bathroom door open, Momo suppresses the curse, embarrassing Okarun. She learns from her grandmother that her psychic powers aren't fully developed and that she must train to regain her full strength. Suddenly, Momo notices her grandmother's nose bleeding and, horrified, sees Turbo Granny standing in the bathroom. The spirit speaks through Okarun, warning that her curse can kill anyone he looks at, and challenges Momo to face her in the tunnel that night. If Momo refuses, Turbo Granny threatens to kill indiscriminately. After the spirit leaves, Momo can again talk with her grandmother and Okarun. Seeing her grandmother's bleeding and a burnt talisman on the wall, Momo's grandmother asks what happened. Before they leave for the tunnel, Momo's grandmother gives Momo and Okarun special garments to protect them from evil spirits. She holds Momo tightly, praying for their safety. Towards the end of the episode, on the train ride, Momo burns with anger toward Turbo Granny for hurting her grandmother. Okarun hides his face in embarrassment, likely because of their unusual outfits and the public setting. We continue on episode 4 of DanDaDan, where Momo and Okarun face off against Turbo Granny and a creepy earthbound spirit crab. Momo and Okarun nervously step into Turbo Granny's tunnel, ready to face the evil spirit. Momo thinks this fight will be easier than their last one with the Flatwoods monster. But things take a shocking turn when they find Turbo Granny's huge head blocking both ends of the tunnel. Momo tries to fight back with bats controlled by her psychic powers, but Turbo Granny destroys them easily with her mouth-like eyes. In a panic, Momo tells Okarun to use Turbo Granny's power against her. But before they can act, Turbo Granny strips Okarun of his strength by returning his genitals, making him powerless. As she's about to attack, Momo remembers her grandmother's advice: challenge Turbo Granny to a game of tag, using her pride against her. Confident, Turbo Granny agrees to the challenge and stops her attack. Momo and Okarun race to get a head start, while Turbo Granny counts to 10 minutes. However, she starts counting in a strange way, and Momo gets caught before they can escape. Okarun gets angry and accuses Turbo Granny of cheating, but she points out that she didn't agree to count normally. With time running out, Okarun bites Turbo Granny in desperation, but she decides to fully possess him. As Turbo Granny prepares to devour Momo, Momo remembers her grandmother's lesson on using her sense of touch. She traps Turbo Granny inside, Okarun using her psychic powers. When Turbo Granny breaks free, Momo is set free too. They celebrate, but then the earthbound spirit crab appears to save Turbo Granny. Momo and Okarun flee for their lives, with Okarun, now faster thanks to Turbo Granny's power, carrying Momo on his back through the town, completely invisible to everyone else. Okarun starts to tire, so Momo comes up with a plan. She tells him to lead the crab into a hot spring, where the boiling water will slow it down. Momo uses her psychic powers to release hot water onto the crab, giving them a chance to escape. But things take a turn when Turbo Granny summons possessed citizens to trap them. She declares they'll never leave Shono City. With no way out, Okarun uses Turbo Granny's power to speed through the crowd of possessed people. But it causes both of them pain. In the chaos, Momo accidentally releases Turbo Granny from Okarun. A powerful kick knocks Okarun out cold. Turbo Granny merges with the earthbound spirit crab and prepares to chase Momo. Momo then uses her psychic powers to jump onto a passing train, leading Turbo Granny into a trap set by her grandmother. The earthbound spirit crab is exorcised when it hits the trap. During the exorcism, Momo sees schoolgirls emerging from the crab, finally freeing the trapped spirits. After Turbo Granny's defeat, Momo, Okarun, and her grandmother return to the tunnel to honor the spirits. Momo's grandmother explains that the tunnel was once a murder site for young girls, and Turbo Granny had come to comfort their souls. Before they leave, she teaches Momo the importance of coexisting with spirits, relieved that Momo is safe. Back at home, Okarun joins Momo and her grandmother for dinner. They joke about the crab, and Okarun decides to keep his distance from Momo's grandmother after she teases him about checking if his genitals have really returned. Momo and Okarun say their goodbyes, and as Okarun leaves, Momo changes her farewell to let him know she'll see him tomorrow, which comforts him. Next, we go to episode 5, where Okarun and Momo deal with a lot of misunderstandings, a surprise visit from Turbo Granny, and some very strange happenings. Let's jump in. The next day at school, Okarun is unsure how to greet Momo. To his surprise, he sees Momo waiting outside, and he assumes she's waiting for someone else. But when Momo walks up to him and asks why it took him so long to meet her, he realizes she was waiting for him. After a chat about aliens, Momo and Okarun head off to their classes. Okarun, happy to have made a friend, ignores the teasing from his classmates. Meanwhile, Momo becomes lost in her thoughts, barely noticing her friends trying to talk to her. They begin to think Momo's gotten back with her old boyfriend. The two are excited to talk again at lunch, but when they search for each other, they miss each other by inches. As Momo and Okarun sit on a bench, thinking the other is avoiding them, they bump into each other, literally. Their teeth clash, and they quickly reassure each other that they weren't avoiding one another. However, this catches the attention of Momo's friends, who get angry and accuse them of being in a relationship. This causes a fight, and Okarun, feeling rejected, heads to the bathroom to think about apologizing. In class, Momo gets annoyed when her classmates start talking about her and Okarun. Things get worse when Okarun approaches her, making a weird hand gesture. Momo, not wanting to talk, asks him to leave, but Okarun assumes she's embarrassed to be seen with him and walks away, feeling down. One of Momo's friends is surprised by Momo's reaction if Okarun really is her friend. Later, Okarun accidentally bumps into a girl named Aira, who talks to him kindly. Momo sees this and overhears Aira boasting to her friends about how she's pretending to be nice to Okarun to make him like her. Momo, frustrated, uses her psychic powers to make a basin fall on Aira's head. Aira's friends are confused, but Momo then rejoins Okarun and suggests they walk home together, while also getting back at Aira. On their way home, Momo apologizes for her earlier behavior, and Okarun forgives her. He quickly changes the subject, however, when he remembers that his testicles are still missing. Momo laughs, but then gets serious when Seiko checks Okarun's soul and finds something strange inside of him. Seiko has Momo grab a doll and a wash bowl, and after smacking Okarun on the head with a fan, she tells Momo to extract the strange aura inside him. When she does, the doll comes to life and starts running around. Momo uses her psychic powers to stop it, realizing that the doll is actually Turbo Granny. Seiko explains that Turbo Granny avoided exorcism by entering Okarun's body, and now she's back with a plan for revenge once she regains her powers. Turbo Granny warns Okarun that if he threatens her, he'll never get his balls back. The tension rises when Turbo Granny demands Okarun kill Momo and Seiko in exchange for his testicles. Fueled by anger, Okarun transforms into Turbo Granny's form. Seiko reveals that while Turbo Granny's consciousness was removed from Okarun's body, her power stayed inside him. Turbo Granny is shocked by this, and Seiko hits her with the fan. Despite everything, Momo admits she can't hate Turbo Granny after learning about her past kindness to the girls who died in the tunnel. Momo offers to return Turbo Granny's power if she helps them find Okarun's missing testicles. Unfortunately, Turbo Granny sadly tells them she's lost them for good. Finally, for episode 6, Momo and Okarun face a strange new yokai and some serious misunderstandings. Let's dive right in. Momo and Okarun are still on the hunt for Okarun's missing bits, which Turbo Granny says are covered in a golden layer of her spiritual energy. However, after searching without success, Turbo Granny suggests that they were taken by a spirit or yokai, drawn in by Okarun's strong life force. She doesn't seem too concerned about it, which frustrates both Momo and Okarun to the point where they stomp on her in anger. They report back to Seiko, who offers to help by gathering information, and warns Okarun to control Turbo Granny's power within him. The next day at school, Okarun runs into a classmate who asks him to introduce him to Momo since they're supposedly friends. When the classmate comments on how cute Momo is, Okarun is surprised to realize he thinks the same. However, he tries to push those thoughts away, only to find out that a nasty rumor about Momo has been spreading around school. Okarun gets angry and grabs the classmate, demanding to know who started it. This triggers Turbo Granny's power, scaring the classmate. Realizing what's happening, Okarun calms down, apologizes, and sits back down. That's when Turbo Granny reveals she's been hiding in his bag the whole time and gleefully watches as he accidentally shows off her power in public. Not wanting anyone to see her, Okarun rushes out of the classroom and talks to Turbo Granny alone in the hallway. She tries to convince him to restore her power, but he resists. Just as Momo shows up, Turbo Granny retreats back into Okarun's bag. Okarun plans to tell Momo about Turbo Granny, but when he tries to talk to her, he starts seeing Momo as cute, just like his classmate said. He begins avoiding her, causing Momo to chase after him, which only makes her more frustrated and confused. This gives Turbo Granny the chance to sneak around the school. Later, Momo learns from one of her friends that Okarun defended her when the rumor about her was mentioned. Even though she hears this, Momo can't understand why Okarun is still avoiding her. Meanwhile, Aira, a girl who's been on the receiving end of Momo's psychic powers, is strutting down the hallway, enjoying the attention from her classmates. She's disappointed that her rumor about Momo didn't work and holds onto one of Okarun's lost parts, which she found the day before. Aira is convinced this golden ball is her destiny to save the world. That night, Aira finds one of Okarun's lost parts again, and believes it's a sign that she's meant to save the world. The next day, Aira gathers items for her world-saving mission, like a Bible and a cross. She tells her friends that she's seen a mysterious red-clad woman outside the school. Her friends see nothing, so Aira assumes the woman is Momo's familiar, spying on them. Aira tries to hide from her, but her actions only make her more suspicious to the boys around her. On the school roof, Momo demands Okarun to look at her. Okarun makes an excuse, saying he's keeping an eye on Turbo Granny while she eats lunch. Turbo Granny, feeling confident that Okarun can't stop her, reveals that she's been searching for Okarun's lost part. She thinks it might have been found by a human, which could make them a target for spirits. She also mentions a strange woman, but she'll explain more after school. Aira, still obsessed with Okarun's missing part, decides to confront Momo. She catches Momo alone and tries to perform an exorcism with the cross and Bible, claiming Momo is a demon. Momo fights back with her psychic powers, throwing Aira's friends off her. Aira, still convinced that Momo is a demon, uses the golden part to strengthen her exorcism. Just as Okarun runs in to help, Momo realizes Aira is holding one of his lost parts and tells him that Aira is the mysterious woman they've been hearing about. Okarun clears up the confusion, revealing that Aira is actually being targeted by the woman in red. Then, the woman in red shows up, claiming to be Aira's mother. Okarun tries to stop her by using Turbo Granny's power, but the woman evades him with her acrobatic moves. Momo tries to help by using her psychic powers to pull Okarun from the woman's mouth, but the woman swallows him whole. The woman reveals to Aira that she's been waiting for over 10 years to reunite with her. Momo, now more confused, demands the woman return Okarun. She reminds the woman of the rules between yokai and humans. Meanwhile, Turbo Granny informs Momo that this woman is known as Acrobatic Silky, a yokai famous for her agility. Feeling insulted by Aira calling her a monster, Acrobatic Silky swallows Aira and blames Momo for Aira's actions. Momo calls for Turbo Granny's help, only to learn that Turbo Granny has no power left. Acrobatic Silky grabs Momo by the neck and swings her around, demanding Momo apologize to her. Momo refuses and is also swallowed by the woman. Just as things look dire, Turbo Granny confronts Acrobatic Silky, warning her to release the children. Momo, using Aira's lighter, sets Acrobatic Silky's hair on fire, forcing her to spit both Momo and Okarun out. With both of them free, Momo and Okarun prepare for their next move against Acrobatic Silky. Today, we're continuing from episode 7 of DanDaDan, where Okarun and Momo face off with Acrobatic Silky, and Aira's fate takes a surprising turn. Let's dive into it. Momo and Okarun are still on the run from acrobatic Silky, trying to keep the unconscious Era away from her. Okarun, in his Turbo Granny form, carries Era and leads acrobatic Silky on a chase, sticking to a plan. However, acrobatic Silky overpowers Momo and almost separates Okarun from Era. Just as acrobatic Silky tries to grab Era, her hair gets tangled in the building's beams, just like Momo had planned. Momo uses her psychic powers to hold down acrobatic Silky's legs and tells Okarun to attack with Turbo Granny's power. At first, Okarun is caught off guard, but then he uses his speed to charge at acrobatic Silky, knocking her down. After defeating her, Momo and Okarun manage to recover the Kintama from Aira, but then Turbo Granny reveals that Aira is dead. After checking Aira's pulse, Okarun confirms that Turbo Granny was right. Aira is dead, consumed by a yokai. Despite Turbo Granny saying it's too late, Momo and Okarun keep trying to revive her with CPR, heart massage, and even calling an ambulance. Just as they lose hope, acrobatic Silky rises again. To their surprise, she offers to help bring Era back to life by transferring her aura into Era. Momo is skeptical and asks acrobatic Silky to prove she means no harm. In response, acrobatic Silky rips out her own mouth as a vow not to hurt Era again. Still unsure, Momo agrees to the transfer, with her psychic powers helping. During the process, Momo catches a glimpse into acrobatic Silky's past. A mother who loved her child deeply and tragically ended her own life after her child was taken from her. Momo watches as acrobatic Silky realizes that Aira is the young girl from her past. The yokai had always wanted to protect her, and now, seeing Aira as her daughter, acrobatic Silky tries to make amends. After Aira comes back to life, acrobatic Silky starts to disintegrate. Filled with remorse, she apologizes to Era. As acrobatic Silky fades away, she remembers her child and regrets her failure as a mother. In her final moments, Era embraces her, calls her mother, and tells her she loves her. This act helps acrobatic Silky reach Nirvana and peacefully pass on. In the end, Aira, filled with compassion, wishes for acrobatic Silky and her child to find a better place beyond. With that, acrobatic Silky finally finds peace, and Era moves forward, carrying the memories of her mother and their shared redemption. Episode 8 is where things get tense between Momo, Okarun, and Aira, and a new paranormal enemy shows up at school. Let's dive in. After dealing with acrobatic Silky, Momo, Okarun, Seiko, and Turbo Granny all sit down for a meal at the Ayase house with Aira. Momo realizes that Aira is still hostile towards her after their first encounter, when she dropped a basin on Aira's head. Momo admits she went too far and apologizes, but also demands that Aira apologize to Okarun for making fun of him. Aira, however, says she doesn't hold a grudge against Momo, but sees her as a demon she has to defeat. This leads to a heated argument, with Momo asserting she's not a demon. Aira then turns her attention to Okarun and Seiko, saying that Okarun's transformation into Turbo Granny and Seiko's youthful appearance prove that they're all demons. As tensions rise, Aira warns Momo that she will confront her again. Before leaving, Aira asks Okarun why he chose to save her, despite thinking of him as a demon. Okarun responds that it's just natural to help others, which surprises Aira and makes her believe he still has some humanity left. As Aira blushes and leaves, she tells Okarun she'll come back to liberate him from Momo's influence, leaving Momo shocked. Later, Okarun happily finds that his ball is finally back in place while playing baseball with Turbo Granny and Seiko. The next day at school, Momo suggests Okarun meet her on the rooftop to discuss the whereabouts of his other ball. However, Okarun tells her he needs to focus on finishing a report instead. After agreeing to let him be alone, Momo spends lunch with Miko and Muko, but starts to feel like Okarun is hiding something from her. Miko suggests it might be about a girl, and Momo begins to think back to Aira after their conversation yesterday. While out getting drinks, Momo feels uneasy and considers checking in on Okarun. But when she unexpectedly sees Okarun on top of Aira in the courtyard, she's shocked and confused. Outside the school, Okarun is training as Seiko instructed, getting ready for the next supernatural encounter. Suddenly, Aira shows up and tries to confess her feelings for him by kissing him. Okarun, surprised, backs away and asks why she thought that was a good idea. Aira says she's following guidance from books that belong to her father. As Aira awkwardly tries again, Okarun tries to block her advances, but ends up falling on top of her. Just then, Momo walks by and sees them in a misunderstood situation. She storms off, disappointed, and Okarun chases after her to explain, but Momo refuses to listen after he lied about working on a report. Later, during class, Momo struggles with the earlier incident, while Miko and Muko joke that she's being possessed by the spirit of the mantis shrimp from their lesson. Meanwhile, Okarun hopes to make things right with Momo. Suddenly, Okarun notices the floor is flooded with water, and his classroom is mysteriously empty. Leaving the halls, he bumps into Aira, who assumes Momo caused this strange event. Okarun tells her he's experienced this environment before. Meanwhile, Momo, trapped in a classroom with no way to escape, grows frustrated as she wonders if Okarun is dealing with the same situation. Momo hears a noise approaching and looks to see a snake-like creature in the distance. She hides from it, but when she accidentally creates a ripple in the water, the creature unleashes a blast from its mouth, destroying the classroom. Luckily, Momo dodges the attack and wonders where Okarun is after the creature leaves. Meanwhile, Okarun and Aira are startled by the noise. Recalling their encounter with the Flatwoods monster, Okarun explains to Aira that the only way out is to defeat the alien who has appeared at school. They're soon confronted by a crab-headed alien that attacks them. Okarun transforms into his turbo granny form, quickly pulling Aira out of danger and telling her to move while he fights the alien. But the alien overpowers Okarun with psychokinesis, forcing him to revert to his normal form. The alien reveals they've come for Okarun's reproductive organs to gain the supernatural power they saw him use before. Okarun tries to explain that the power they saw was a curse and finds himself unable to transform. Just as the alien prepares to use giant scissors to extract his organs, Aira undergoes a surprising transformation, taking on a form similar to acrobatic Silky. She uses her hair to strike back at the alien, rescuing Okarun in the process. Aira, now fully confident in her power, declares that she is the chosen one and demands the alien release Okarun. Next on our list is episode 9 of DanDaDan, where Okarun, Momo, and Aira face off against new enemies, and things take an unexpected turn with a strange creature. Let's get into it. After the battle with the Serpos, Aira asks Okarun if he's okay, but gets embarrassed when she sees him naked. She thinks his reaction means he wants to take their relationship to the next level. Meanwhile, one of the Serpos realizes that Aira has superhuman abilities similar to Okarun. He orders the crab-headed alien to fight Aira up close while he attacks from a distance. Aira dodges all the punches from the crab alien and kicks him into the ceiling, but she's soon pinned against the wall by the Serpo using his psychic powers. He's excited to find not one, but 2 humans with superhuman powers to harvest. The crab-headed alien frees his head and delivers a powerful punch, sending Aira crashing through a classroom. Okarun tries to step in and protect Aira, but is once again overpowered by the Serpos' awesome zone, which negates yokai powers. The crab-headed alien starts attacking Okarun while he's down, but Okarun manages to get back on his feet and attacks after Momo arrives to counter the Serpos' psychokinesis. Momo gets mad at Okarun for being involved with Aira, and comments on seeing the faces of her former enemies. With Momo present, the Serpos express disappointment that the crab-headed alien failed to eliminate her. Okarun is happy to see Momo again, but she tells him not to look at her while he's still naked. Despite being annoyed that Momo had to save her, Aira asks Momo to fight with her to defeat the Serpos. Momo is shocked when Aira appears as acrobatic Silky, but agrees to help, though Aira insists on keeping Okarun, or Ken, to herself. When Momo hears Okarun's real name, she gets flustered and accidentally loses focus on her psychokinesis, causing both Okarun and Aira to get caught by the Serpo's powers once again. The Serpo takes advantage of the situation and gives the crab-headed alien a performance-boosting serum, turning him into a stronger version with mantis shrimp-like powers. He attacks Okarun and Aira with shockwave punches while they're unable to move. Momo soon regains control, tells Aira not to mention Okarun's full name around her, and uses her psychic powers to counter the Serpo's awesome zone. The Serpo then tells the crab-headed alien to focus on Momo. Now with Okarun and Aira transformed and working together, they manage to overpower the crab-headed alien. Okarun uses his speed to dodge the alien's fast punches, while Aira strikes at his weak points. Despite working well together, Momo warns them not to fight too close to each other, as it'll make them easier targets. Aira misinterprets this as jealousy, but Momo denies it, while Okarun agrees with Momo's advice, though it causes her to lose focus on her powers after he makes a comment about Ken Takakura. Meanwhile, the crab alien expresses his frustration at being penalized by the Serpos for his poor performance in battle. The battle is interrupted when the water beneath them rises and floods the area. Momo, Okarun, and Aira swim to the surface, only to find the walls and ceiling also turning into water. They look up and see the creature Momo previously encountered, Nessie, swimming above them. After realizing it's Nessie, Momo and Okarun swim away as it attacks a Serpo. Below, the enhanced crab alien unleashes a shockwave punch aimed at Aira, sending her toward the ceiling and threatening to drown her. The crab alien, however, soon realizes he doesn't have gills and starts struggling to breathe. Seizing the opportunity, Okarun transforms into his turbo granny form to fight back, but quickly sinks since he can't swim in that form. He reverts to his original form, and both he and Momo continue to dodge the alien's attacks. Okarun tells Momo he'll distract the alien while she helps Aira, but Momo argues with him, still upset about the incident with Aira. Seeing her distress, Okarun suggests Momo be honest with him about the situation, offering to explain everything later. He then dives down to protect Momo from an incoming shockwave punch. This prompts Momo to come up with a plan to use Okarun as a living speedboat to help her move quickly in the water. Momo rides on Okarun and uses her powers to expel water from Aira's lungs, saving her. But the water resistance from their clothes slows them down, so Momo decides to strip down to her underwear and urges Aira to do the same, though Aira is reluctant. Meanwhile, the enhanced crab alien spots a Serpo swimming nearby and asks for more time to pursue them, but when he gets closer, he realizes it's just a severed head of a Serpo who was killed by Nessie. The remaining Serpo approaches the crab alien to fuse with him and Nessie using body cables. As Momo, Okarun, and Aira prepare to dive again to face their enemies, they look down and see the Serpo Dover demon Nessie, realizing they need to escape. The creature starts unleashing water blasts from its mouth. After the water blasts stop, they notice Nessie absorbing water through its gills to recharge. Aira uses her acrobatic silky hair to attack, but Nessie blocks her flying kick with a punch and responds with a barrage of shockwave punches. Momo and Okarun regroup, trying to figure out how to deal with the creature. Momo finally comes up with a plan, using her powers to bring the water down, causing the Serpo Dover demon Nessie's mantis shrimp arms to tear apart. But the creature tries to grab Momo and dives into the water to unleash another water blast. Aira uses her acrobatic silky hair to intervene, grabbing Nessie by the neck and helping defeat it. Okarun uses the hair as a track to propel himself, splitting the fused creature while catching Momo in his arms. After defeating the Serpo Dover demon Nessie, Momo, Okarun, and Aira finally escape the watery void, only to find themselves in the school hallway, still in their underwear. They panic and run off, embarrassed by their situation. Now, on episode 10 of DanDaDan, things get a bit more complicated for Momo, Okarun, and Aira, and they end up helping a new creature in need. Let's dive in. Momo, Okarun, and Aira find themselves questioned by Queen about their embarrassing situation of being exposed in their underwear. After a brief moment of distress, they're left alone when a staff member informs the nurse of an incoming call. Momo then finds out from Aira that she accidentally activated acrobatic Silky's powers during the fight with the Serpos, which she thinks is connected to her aura with the yokai. Okarun speculates that Aira's connection might make her a target for extraterrestrial beings interested in humans with yokai abilities. Like himself and Aira, he believes it might have something to do with his missing Kintama. Momo and Aira don't fully follow Okarun's theory though, as they're more worried about the embarrassment. Momo, hearing Aira planning to blame her, just lets it go to avoid more trouble. Aira leaves with her friends, and Momo and Okarun are left alone. Now with Okarun alone, Momo demands an explanation about what happened during lunch. Okarun admits that Aira tried to kiss him, and he accidentally fell on top of her while trying to push her away. Momo asks why they were in a private place, and Okarun explains that he was exercising to become stronger, but didn't want to tell her so he could impress her. Momo laughs, teasing him about wanting to look cool in front of her. Okarun gets embarrassed and starts to leave, assuring Momo that he won't blame her like Aira did. Momo tries to respond, but is interrupted by Miko and Muko, who ask about the incident. Momo doesn't want to explain the details, so Miko guesses it was a fight over Okarun while they were in their underwear, which Momo quickly denies. In Class 2D, Ira is enjoying the sympathy from her classmates after the incident, but her satisfaction fades when she overhears them talking badly about Momo, accusing her of harassing Aira and calling her a terrible person. Feeling guilty, Aira confesses to her classmates that she lied about Momo and asks them to stop. She leaves the classroom, leaving everyone stunned. Outside, Aira is still processing her guilt when Momo approaches her, asking if she really followed through with blaming the incident on her. Aira admits it, but Momo can tell she's lying, as Aira is alone and isolated. Frustrated, Aira and Momo face the Dover Demon, who talks about needing to support his family. Just as they prepare to defend themselves, the Dover Demon collapses, exhausted and bleeding a white fluid. Later, the Dover Demon wakes up in the Ayase household, where Momo, Okarun, Seiko, and Aira are looking after him. Momo tells her grandmother that the Dover Demon's presence proves extraterrestrial life exists, but her grandmother mistakes him for a Kappa. After helping him, Aira asks what to do next, still worried that the Dover Demon might deceive them again. When he moves from his bed, the group gets on guard, but Momo reassures him, mentioning Seiko is there for support. The Dover Demon notices a plate of curry and is told by Momo that they prepared it for him. He's overwhelmed by their kindness and medical care, and he vows never to harm them again. That evening, after a meal with Momo, Okarun, Seiko, Aira, and Turbo Granny, the Dover Demon explains his situation. He needs money for his sick son's blood transfusion and has resorted to dangerous activities as an outlaw. Okarun offers to sell his Kintama to help, but Momo points out that this wouldn't be enough for his son's ongoing needs. Aira supports Okarun's offer, saying she'll help retrieve the Kintama, but Momo tells her to stay out of it. The Dover Demon declines the offer, not wanting to burden anyone further. However, Seiko offers him a cart of milk, recognizing that milk is equivalent to blood for his kind. She suggests asking a farmer for a cow for the Dover Demon to take home to his son. Grateful, the Dover Demon agrees, and as he boards his ship with the cow, he thanks everyone for their help. Afterward, Momo gets down on her knees with Okarun and Aira, pleading with Seiko to buy them new uniforms. Seiko agrees to get uniforms for Okarun and Aira for free, but tells Momo she'll only buy hers if she does an impression of Hiroshi Abe, having noticed Momo's tendency to take advantage of adults. Momo agrees and goes to greet a visitor while doing the impression. When she opens the door, she's shocked to find Gigi, her childhood friend and first crush. Okarun is equally surprised when Seiko reveals this information to him. Moving on to episode 11 of DanDaDan, things get awkward between Momo, Okarun, and Gigi, and they end up facing a strange anatomical model. Let's jump into it. Momo is surprised when she sees Gigi again, and Okarun notices that Gigi gives off a tough vibe. However, when Gigi suddenly reacts to Momo's expression at the door, everyone finds it a bit unamusing. Seiko invites Gigi to make himself comfortable at her home, and Momo is shocked when her grandmother informs her that Gigi will be staying with them. Okarun is also caught off guard, and Aira misinterprets Gigi's move-in as a sign that Momo is preparing for a big battle, causing her to leave with a vow to stop Momo. This frustrates Momo, who's already dealing with both Aira and Gigi. Okarun gets ready to leave, but before he does, Momo asks him to tell her he'll see her tomorrow, repeating what he said earlier. This stirs emotions in both of them, though neither fully acknowledges it. Momo turns to Seiko for clarification about Gigi moving in. Seiko explains that Gigi's parents are hospitalized, and she's happy to have him stay with them. While they wash dishes together, Gigi opens up, expressing regret for teasing Momo when they were younger. He also reveals that he can now see spirits. Momo is taken aback and asks if he's seen a golden ball, but retracts the question when it causes confusion. Gigi then shares a disturbing story about an evil spirit tormenting him, and how the exorcists hired to help had tragically taken their own lives. He sought Seiko's help, as the exorcists had said she would be his final hope. After sharing this, Gigi apologizes for involving Momo in his troubles. But Momo reassures him that she believes her grandmother can handle it. Seiko, however, says she will be the one to confront the spirit, as her powers are effective only within Kamigo City, and suggests that Gigi's ability to see spirits might be linked to Okarun's Kintama. She also offers to buy new uniforms for Momo if she agrees to help with this task. The next day at school, Gigi introduces himself to his new classmates, but it quickly turns into some light flirting with a female peer. He ends up seated next to Momo, who tries to ignore him. Miko and Muko quickly get to know Gigi, and he casually mentions that he lives with Momo. To Momo's irritation, he exaggerates their relationship, claiming they're affectionate, which leads Momo to strangle him. Meanwhile, Okarun starts to worry that Momo might develop feelings for Gigi, since he's her first crush. To distract himself, he secretly trains during lunch. Momo unexpectedly joins him, wanting to prevent a repeat of his earlier awkward situation with Era. As Okarun is weightlifting, Momo offers to feed him, leaving him stunned. Just as he's about to accept, Gigi interrupts with Momo's favorite yogurt, which cheers her up. Seeing this, Okarun walks away, deciding to distance himself from Momo. He then notices an anatomical model rushing towards him and warns Momo, who prepares to stop it with her powers, but is pulled away by Gigi instead. As the anatomical model leaps over them, Momo spots something shiny attached to it. Thinking it's Okarun's Kintama, she tries to stop the model, but gets dragged along by its speed, prompting Okarun to chase after them. Okarun transforms into his Turbo Granny form to catch up, but the anatomical model creates a gap by moving across rooftops. Momo uses her psychic powers to try to seize it, but inadvertently propels both herself and Gigi toward an oncoming bus. Just in time, Okarun swoops in to save them, and has them ride on his back. While they're in this position, Momo explains to Gigi that the creature he thought was after them is actually Okarun in his transformed state, which leaves him shocked. Together, Okarun and Gigi help Momo grab the anatomical model, but it disassembles itself in an attempt to escape. Despite this, Momo locates its heart and hears it crying in distress. The trio follows the cries and finds the anatomical model in a junkyard. Momo reassures it that they mean no harm and expresses her interest in the golden sphere attached to it. Just then, they hear a female voice from the garbage, calling for the anatomical model named Taro. Taro rushes to the trash to rescue the female anatomical doll, Hana, and confesses his feelings for her, despite her urging him to leave her behind. As this unfolds, Okarun reflects on Taro's declarations to Hana and starts to realize his own feelings for Momo, leading him to blush in realization. Finally, for Season 1's finale of DanDaDan, Episode 12, Momo Okarun, and Gigi deal with some embarrassing situations, face a mysterious creature, and uncover hidden secrets at Gigi's family house. Let's dive in. After bringing Hana to the Ayase residence, Okarun, Momo, and Gigi kneel down and beg Seiko to let Hana stay with them. Seiko first suggests that Hana stay at Okarun's house, but Okarun insists that the Ayase house is the best place for her. Momo backs him up, reminding Seiko that they let Turbo Granny stay, much to the talking cat's annoyance. Regarding Taro, Momo explains that he went back to the school, science classroom, but will only stay if he can see Hana occasionally. She also clarifies that the shiny ball Taro had was just a Christmas ornament, not Okarun's Kintama. After some more pleading, Seiko agrees to let Hana stay, as long as her relationship with Taro doesn't cause trouble for the neighbors. She heads to the kitchen to prepare dinner, asking Momo to set the table. As Momo starts setting the table, Gigi makes a playful comment about Momo and Okarun's impressive powers. After joking around and teasing Momo, she smiles. But Okarun recalls Taro's confession to Hana and feels the need to intervene. Okarun vaguely tells Momo he's decided to take a stand, but she's confused. Gigi and Okarun start singing together, disrupting Momo, who just wants to finish setting the table. Seiko shouts at them to stop, telling Momo to pack her things for a weekend stay at Gigi's house to cleanse the house of a curse. Okarun is shocked, thinking it's just going to be the two of them. But Momo reassures him that she planned to invite him to help him feel at ease. Okarun agrees, determined to finish his assignment so Gigi can return home. That night, Taro races out of the school, eager to see Hana. On his way to the Ayase house, he accidentally scares off some students, trying to perform a seance and gets hit by a truck. Meanwhile, Momo waits with Hana at the Ayase residence, reassuring her that Taro will be there soon. By morning, Taro finally arrives, apologizing to Hana for the delay and explaining he had to reassemble his body parts after the accident. Momo, who had been dozing off, catches sight of Taro kissing Hana and is surprised when Taro thanks her for staying with Hana. He then reveals that he plans to meet Hana every day. Momo is stunned by this. Meanwhile, Gigi can't sleep, haunted by the image of the spirit in his house. On the train ride to Gigi's village, Okarin feels uneasy as he watches Momo enjoying a lively conversation with Gigi, who has just brought out her favorite snacks. Okarun tries to distract himself by focusing on reclaiming his kintama, but accidentally blurts it out loud to Momo, making her laugh. Gigi misinterprets it as a dirty joke, but Momo quickly clears it up. The conversation shifts when Gigi mentions a shrine in his village, dedicated to the Tsuchinoko, which piques Okarun's interest. He tries to turn the conversation back to himself by mentioning a shrine, dedicated to a kappa, but Gigi is more intrigued by the Tsuchinoko. The two bond over their shared interest in cryptids, with Okarun feeling a sense of respect for Gigi, as Okarun reflects on how Gigi called him a friend. He blushes and wonders why it's hard for him to dislike him. Upon arriving at Gigi's village, Momo is excited to see that it's a hot springs district. Gigi explains that his family moved there because his father studied volcanoes. Momo asks if the village volcano is likely to erupt, but Gigi reassures her that it's dormant and hasn't erupted in over 200 years. After climbing a steep flight of stairs, they reach the Enjoji house. Momo doesn't sense anything out of the ordinary, so she suggests they rest. Okarun, also tired from the climb, notices something in the woods, but dismisses it when Momo asks him to come inside. Unbeknownst to them, a group of people is watching them from the shadows. After scouring the house for signs of paranormal activity, Momo concludes that the ghost is hiding due to weak spiritual energy, meaning it will be easy to deal with. She decides to visit the hot springs, while Okarun and Gigi stay behind. Gigi invites Okarin to play soccer, and while they're playing, he casually asks if Okarun has feelings for Momo. Okarun is taken aback, but responds that he respects her. Gigi points out all the things he likes about Momo, and the two start a friendly debate about who likes Momo more. Meanwhile, Momo relaxes in the hot spring, wondering if Okarun is getting along with Gigi as his first male friend. Unbeknownst to her, a few men are secretly spying on her. After some playful teasing and arguments between Okarun and Gigi, Okarun interrupts when he notices a mysterious structure connected to the house. Momo, feeling lightheaded, decides to get out of the hot spring. But as she's about to leave, a group of men enters and informs her that the hot spring is a mixed bath, blocking her way. One man starts talking about gators, claiming they often show up in hot springs to target women. Momo tries to use her powers to defend herself but is too lightheaded and is grabbed and pushed into the water, unable to fight back. Gigi breaks through the wall with a sledgehammer and discovers a room full of talismans. He and Okarun are shocked to find this hidden secret in the house. And that wraps up the recap for Season 1 of DanDaDan. Thanks for watching.